Welcome to I'm Telling, where we have real stories from real students. Our podcast features students from South Mountain Community College Storytelling Institute, located in Phoenix, Arizona. These stories are recorded live in a classroom setting with just one take.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, in a much kinder time, cat and rat were the best of friends. Can you believe it? They lived in a small town. Their houses were across the street from each other. And it was an old kind of house where the steps go up to the big front porch, and then you go in and the steps go up to the bedroom. And they were facing each other on the street. Now, if Cat would paint his house blue, Rat would paint his house blue too. And if Rat planted yellow flowers, Cat had to have yellow flowers too. This is how good of friends they were. And speaking of planting, they shared a garden down at the end of town. Every day they'd meet in the middle of the street and walk down to the garden with their buckets and their baskets and their shovels and their rakes and their watering cans. And it was so cute because they dressed alike too. You remember those old bib overalls? Yeah, they have straps so you don't have to wear a belt, which is because farmers are always bending and twisting, so a belt gets in the way. Well, anyway, if you're a cat and a rat, you have to modify those jeans because you have a tail. So they would put a little buttonhole in the back to thread their tail through. And it was so cute. The little tailless, or the hairless tail of the rat and the fuzzy tail of the cat would swing in unison as they walked down the street to the garden. They worked together every day. They would sometimes meet at each other's houses and have oatmeal before they went down, but they went down every day. As you know, you have to attend your garden. Well, one day, Cat heard his uncle was going to visit. Cat got so excited because his uncle was a world traveler. Now, for Cat, going to the next little town for seeds in the spring was his idea of a big trip. So he loved to hear his uncle's stories when he came back from his travels. And he would usually bring Cat a little present. Well, his uncle showed up that night, and he walked in, and he said, "Cat, I have a present for you." And he showed Cat this beautiful little drum. And he said, "Cat, don't ever let anyone touch this drum but you. Because you don't beat this drum, you don't rap this drum, you don't tap this drum, you stroke this drum." And when he did, it made a sound that Cat just loved. Well, the next morning, Cat was boiling up a whole pot of oatmeal for Rat to come over for breakfast before they went to the garden. But as he came out to go up the bedroom stairs to safely store his little drum, Rat came in the front door, and he saw it, and he reached out to grab it, and the cat said, "No, stop! You may not touch this drum. This is my drum." And he ran upstairs to put it in a safe place. And then he came back and joined Rat in the kitchen, and they each sat eating a bowl of oatmeal. Rat was startled, Rat was hurt, and then Rat was resolute. He sat there eating, trying to figure out, how am I going to get my hands on that drum? Well, he ate his first bowl of oatmeal, and they sat in silence for a change. And he says to Cat, "Oh, I'm still hungry. Could you make another batch of oatmeal?" So Cat went, and he only had the recipe for 2 bowls. So he made 2 bowls of oatmeal again. And Rat sat and ate all that oatmeal until his stomach was distended. And he started moaning. And Cat said, "Well, no wonder you've eaten 3 times your weight in oatmeal." He said, "Go up and lie on my bed. I'll go to the garden by myself today, and then I'll come back at lunch and to check on you." So Rat went up the stairs, slid up on Cat's bed, and as he did, his ankle brushed against that drum. And that was when Rat knew his plan was coming together. Well, he heard Cat downstairs. "I'll come and check with you at noon." "Okay," said Rat. Well, you know where this is going. When Cat got home at noon and opened that door, there stood Rat with that drum, and Cat could tell it had been beaten, poked, rapped, tapped, but he had never gotten a sound out of it. Cat muscles tensed up. His ears went flat on his head. His eyes became narrow slits, and Rat ran out the front door, clutching that drum like a defensive weapon, not a musical instrument. He ran down the stairs. He ran down the street, up the alley, back down another street. He ran down an alley and boom, it was a dead end. He backed against the wall, and here comes Cat. And all Rat could see was 4 pure white teeth headed for him, about to bite his head off. So Rat took that drum, and he tossed it, and it went down Cat's throat. And it landed in a place that seemed like it was almost made for it. But as Cat stumbled back, Rat was able to escape with his life. And that is why, let me tell you, from that day on, when you pick up your cat and stroke it, you will hear the sound of the cat's drum. Brum, brum, brum.